Good day, comrades. Well, again, you see, one thing that we repeatedly see is that there is enough blame to go around for each faction, for each group. Although some, are definitely way worse than others in terms of things that have been done and all of that. But I'm making this particular audio just to brainstorm, to share my own ideas around how I think we can find each other and find a way forward. Because every day that we try, to just walk away, to just turn our eyes like we are not seeing what's going on. The truth is, when if you have been deeply involved in this struggle like myself, when you try to turn your back at night, if you have, if your heart is in the right place in the struggle and you join the struggle for the right reason, the truth is that you will not sleep at night when you tell yourself that I'm just going to walk away, I'm just going to turn a blind eye. So indulge me for a moment. Let me again try to propose a way forward. uh, i'm going to I'm going to make it as short as possible, and I wish that this should be the first of many engagement. And I just want comrades to, let's forget our differences. Let's forget that we hate each other. Let's keep the baggage behind us and just look at the way forward. Mine might be wrong, but I hope that this can trigger the thinking in your own mind so that you come up with a better way forward. But if mine is right, forgive me for the past, whatever we have, and let's just look at that way forward and focus on that way forward and save ourselves and this struggle from the rapid decline and spiral that it has been in. So I know that previously, over the last 5, 6 years, we all generally agree that unity is the one thing that can enable us to win the struggle, or at least get the best out of the struggle, and to limit the casualties that are happening on our side, the way our people are victims and vulnerable to the struggle. We all agree on that. So it doesn't matter what faction, it doesn't matter who you believe should be the leader, but I want us to think together in a way that the starting point is there's no leader, there's no group, and before I know that that would ruffle people who are deeply enshrined in their groups and believe in their leader would already feel bad. But please just listen as I try to elaborate this point out. Let's think from a place where it's just you, it's just me, it's just the other comrade and the other comrade and the other comrade around the world, and this is our struggle, and this is where it is right now. You would agree with me that maybe at times we are looking for the answers from the wrong people, because at every given turn, what we have done is we have called on the leaders to do something. We have called on the leaders to come together. We have called on the leaders to unite. We have done this thing over and over, and they say doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. It's one of the the main definitions of insanity. So us calling these leaders and these groups to come together, it's a fairy tale, and it's never going to bring the unity that we so desire, because whenever they come together, whatever they agree in, the moment they step out of that room and go back to wherever they are going to just revert back into their small little groups with their followers who agree with them with everything they say, with their followers who clap for them, with their followers who would, repeat after them when they say we are winning fatly and all of that. But we all know the truth. The situation is not good. And that is why the people that we call that's why some people really would not prefer, to be at the forefront at taking advantage of the struggle every day. So I'm hoping that what I propose here, you would start to see how we can, salvage the situation and start stopping people who want to take advantage of the struggle because of the leadership vacuum that is that has occurred generally because of lack of vision for all the group leaders that are within the struggle. So this is what I think. I think if Ambazonians, wherever they are in the world, forget about their group, forget about their leader for a moment, and start thinking just about where they are, who they are as an Ambazonian, and asking themselves, who are other Ambazonians around where I am? And they start reaching out to each other, but reaching out, and the principle is that we should forget whoever reaches out to who, what group they belong, because they are not reaching out for an agenda. They are reaching out that we should find each other where we are, not virtually. If, for instance, I'm based in South Africa, I'm based in Johannesburg, the only thing that I can really genuinely do as an Ambazonian is to go back in my memory in 2016 December when we started the struggle and ask myself, who are the people who are the comrades that we identified that this is the right struggle, and we jump with our heads and hearts to fight the struggle. Those are the people that I need to find a way to see past the groups, to see past the ideology differences, and come together with, again, like we did in 2016. Now, I can only do that with the comrades that are based where I am based, in Johannesburg in particular, and in South Africa in general. We can find ourselves in South Africa, all of us that started off in 2016, all of us that believe in the struggle and believe in the genuineness of the struggle, we can find ourselves, if for one moment we just forget about groups, we just forget about who's leaders and all of that, and we just like, let us just congregate as Ambazonians, or those who believe in the vision and the sovereignty of Ambazonia in South Africa. Now, imagine if that is happening for us in South Africa, and it's also happening for comrades in Germany, and it's also happening for comrades in Belgium, and it's also happening for comrades in Switzerland, and it's also happening for comrades in the UK, and it's happening for comrades from one state to the other in the US, and it's happening for comrades in Canada, and it's happening for comrades in Ghana, and it's happening for comrades in Nigeria, and it's happening for comrades in Australia, in Norway, in Sweden, all around the world, wherever we find Ambazonians, whether it's 10 or 20, if they just find themselves again, like we did in 2016 December, that we had the same grievances with our people on the ground who rose, and the same, way we found ourselves early 2017, and we came together as a community. Now, what if we just come together as local communities? And one thing that we believe in is that we believe in our freedom, we believe in the genuineness of our fight, and we just come together and find ourselves in the location, in the country where we are, and say we are Ambazonians. Now, once that happens and we say we have forgiven each other, or we keep, the differences that we have, that one has stolen, that one has killed, we keep all of that aside. That one is following a bad, no, we keep all of that aside. We forget about all of that, and we just say we are Ambazonians first. We come together and we set rules of working together, organizing together, advocating for Ambazonians together as a collective of Ambazonians who are based in the same place. We set rules of engagement that we would use to mobilize ourselves, to raise funds, to support initiatives that would 100% benefit the struggle and move the struggle forward. Just imagine that if we come together, if volunteers, if champions in these various locations, you call the 4 or 5 people that you know that were part of leadership initially in your location, and you people strategize and we share notes in terms of what sort of local organization umbrella can we come together as Ambazonians in our country, in our location, without considering what group, what faction we belong to, and what wrong who has done in the past. We bury that and we say we will revisit that when the struggle has gotten to its conclusion. Right now, we just want a way forward. We just want a way that we would reassure Ground Zero that we are 100% in support of the struggle, and we want to ensure that no one of us is able to sell out. Now, this coming together of communities in the diaspora, what will happen is natural leaders, the people who can organize, the people who can plan, would naturally emerge, and they'll come up with templates of what local organization we can believe we can all belong to, that doesn't relate to an IG, that doesn't relate to a group, that doesn't relate to a president, that doesn't relate to a leader, just us here. Then, once we have an understanding of what that structure is for our location, we can now put in place a mechanism to elect the people who would represent us in South Africa, the Ambazonians in Norway, the Ambazonians in Germany. And this leadership would be the genuine leadership that represents the voices of the people in that location. And when this leadership goes out and says, this is what Ambazonians in Norway are supporting in Ground Zero, we are supporting this initiative here, we are supporting this initiative here, the people whom this leadership represent have access to this so-called this secretary that is representing this community, and they can call them to order if they misappropriate funds that are raised for a particular project and they are not able to justify in their local community where they are leading. There are laws in that country that those people can use to hold that person accountable. And even if the worst gets to the worst, I mean, we are in the same country, we can physically, if it comes to be physical, we can go and look for this person in their house and hold the person down and say, listen, here today, that 200 amber that we contributed to pay hospital bills for that patient that you took and haven't paid, we need that money today, or we'll take something from your house. That is how we can bring accountability back in the struggle. Now, just imagine if we get this basics right. Just imagine if we get this right, because if we get this right, the truth is, once we get this right, we would understand how we can have a global organization that genuinely represents the people of Ambazonia who are based in the diaspora. It's not virtual leadership. Nobody is hiding behind any group. Nobody is hiding behind anything. If you come and say you are the secretary of Ambazonians in South Africa, it means genuinely the Ambazonians in South Africa, they came together, they organized whatever form of election that they organized, and you are the person who has been selected to represent the voices of Ambazonians. Now, imagine if each country has somebody whom, through coming together, through mobilizing that country, genuinely represents the people of that place, and each country comes up with a plan of a way forward, and these leaders meet in a Zoom call, and each country, each region presents what their way forward plan is, and we find a strategic team to take all those presentations of the 14 different communities leaders that have presented what their way forward is. One team, one strategic committee, take all that way forward plans and go into a working committee and have regular meetings and work on that way forward plan from the various communities around the world and put together the points that are the same, put together the points that are different, and put together the points that are important and come up with a priority roadmap of how we in the diaspora can best advocate, can best support our struggle for liberation. Imagine if we just for a moment, for a day, for a week, for a month, for a year, just focus on building real strong grassroots communities that represent the people who are based there. Imagine the amount of advocacy that we can do. Imagine the amount of leverage that we can leverage. Imagine the amount of lobbying that can be achieved in each region if all comrades align together under local forum, one forum that represents everybody in that community. So that if one person has a problem, that association of that community that represents all of us can be right there to stand to shield that one person. Imagine if we pull this off. Now, this gives you like a wild idea of my imagination of how I imagine that we can really pull this off, and I think that this should be a basis for thinking on a way forward. And I'm sharing with you so that you should give me your feedback so that it should help you develop your idea and you start thinking of how we can together find champions, people who can champion, an idea that can really help us bring about unity in a way that we can be holding people accountable based on where they are located, not based on some virtual group or something that we don't really, there's no way to just find out what is what. So basically, I think this is ground zero for the way forward. This is the way forward 101. And I think that if we consider this, if we do this, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of things that I can't share, which are possibilities that will benefit the struggle. I can't possibly be putting that out there. But if we start mobilizing, if we start coming together as champions to chant the way forward, to discuss ideas, to discuss strategies and principles, there's a lot of the things that you want to hear, how we can do them through the settings that we would share together, and you would see how realistic this whole thought process is. Now, this is not uniquely my idea. This is me looking at all the various ideas that have been shared over the years of the way forward from the likes of Comrade Edwin Gang, from the likes of what's this Comrade Julius, Advocate. A lot of comrades have shared different ways of thinking of the way forward, and I'm just looking at hearing all those things, and this is the idea that I think it's possible for us to hold each other's hands despite our differences, despite our shortcomings, and build a genuine movement to liberate Ambazonia. Thank you very much. I wait to hear your feedback, and we'll